tell her to hold on a second. Deb, hold on a second. Deb.
There's two of us here, so. La. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Dave.
It's the Jonathan and Dave show.
Stop it. Okay, everyone, welcome to the Printerverse. We are live streaming. We have free lunch. Yes, I said free lunch.
Did you say free lunch?
I said free lunch.
As in no money?
As in no money.
But do they have to listen to us?
Yes.
Okay, so there is something involved.
Well, there's no free lunch, but
they're going to get education.
They are.
Very good.
All right, we are here to talk about, are you on board with the CCM 2.0 revolution? What does that mean? Well, we're going to tell you. So if we go to the next slide, I am Jonathan McGrew with Crawford Technologies. I am the marketing communications coordinator. Oh, wait, no, I'm the marketing communications manager. Dang.
You got promoted.
I'm the
remember?
manager. So I help put these events together, and I recruit talent like David Day. So if you want to come have some free lunch and watch us on the live stream and interact with us and ask us questions, we want you to do it. This is David Day next to me. He's a lot younger than I am and a lot smarter. So he's going to do the presentation. And if we go to the next slide, we have an agenda like all good presentations. So we're going to tell you a little bit about Crawford Technologies. We're going to tell you a glossary of terms because, well, honestly, you might not know what we're talking about, so we want you to learn some things. We're going to talk about, is this a revolution or an evolution of customer communications management? And basically what we're talking about is communicating with your customers through print, multi-channel, e-delivery, all sorts of communication. So we're also going to say, take a look around you. We're going to say we have some statistics. We're not just making this stuff up. And, the CCM, which is the Customer Communications Management, multi-channel, as I said before, we'll wrap it up, take your questions, take live stream questions over there with Miss Wonderful Deborah Korn, and, we have a glossary. So, oh, wait, I have to tell you about who we are. Dave, let's cover that real quick. So, Crawford Technologies is a software and services solutions company. We were started in '95. Why are we talking to you? Because we provide solutions that make it easier for you to communicate with your customers faster, easier, stronger, better satisfaction, and better communications. But how? Well, mainly through three divisions. We do enterprise output management or output management. And what that basically means is we help deliver critical customer communications like bills, statements, letters, prospectus, anything that has to do with communicating. You might be in insurance, banking, and we'll cover that later. We also do archive and ECM, management delivery type services with our solutions, and document accessibility services. Yes, that's your Braille, large print, audio, e-text, and we do that as a service. And we have technology that does batch transformation into the ISO standard PDF UA, which is critical for a lot of you banks, insurance companies, and healthcare providers that deliver statements to your customers. So we talk a little bit about that. You can see our awards, and if you're at home, we're a Deloitte Fast 500 company. We're on the Profit 300, 200, and 100 in Canada over the last several years, and have won a couple awards from around different trade shows and from associations. Woo! That's a lot, isn't it?
And because I use a lot of acronyms, Jonathan said, wait a minute, we better have a glossary of terms.
Yeah, so Dave, you better cover that for these nice, fine people. I'm going to stop hogging the spotlight here and get out of the way.
So what we're going to be talking about in a couple times, and sometimes I'll say it out to make it easy, but sometimes I'm a little bit forgetful and I go into spaghetti soup here. So if I ever mention the term ADF, I'm talking about an automated document factory. if I talk about an AOM, and I'm going to talk about that a lot, I'm talking about an automated output management system. I could talk about customer communications management, CCM, or enterprise output management, EOM. And I could talk about enterprise contact management, ECM. And a term we've coined is MC squared, not to be confused with MC Hammer. That's multi-channel customer communications management. And of course, many people here are print services providers, so I may talk about PSPs. So, not a lot of names. Just keep in mind that there is a test at the end of the session, and you'll have to be able to cover all of these in the test. So, not to scare you, but there is a test and all that. So, Jonathan told us a little bit about Crawford Technologies, but why are we here, and who do we, as Crawford, talk to when we start talking about the channel management evolution or revolution? We're working with insurance companies and healthcare providers, as well as financial services, utilities, telecoms, government. The print services providers are a big user of our solutions, as well as transportation, manufacturing, and education. Bottom line, if you communicate with anybody, we help you do it better and in the way that your customers want to. Now, Jonathan mentioned that I've been around for 25, I've been around in the business for 30-some years. I'm all that good stuff. The people right next to us at Harlequin, they've been around for 25 years. So I want to give them a little bit of a shout out there because they've been so nice. They've been so wonderful to be next to. So what I would like to do is go ahead and jump into this. So are we in a revolution or an evolution? Anybody remember the Beatles? Who wants to sing it? So basically the line from the Beatles, you say you want a revolution. Well, we all want to change the world, but you tell me that it's an evolution. So, are we in a revolution or are we in an evolution?
I don't know. I don't know which one we're in. I can't determine whether it's an evolution or a revolution, but I know we're in something.
That's right. That's right, my little alien friend. We are in a revolution in some respect, and we're in an evolution in other respects because we are changing the way we do things. I was talking to one of my coworkers earlier this morning, and I've been coming to print for so long. I think Gutenberg and I had a press together when we started this thing. But it used to be we'd come in here, and the first thing you do is go, there's nothing like the smell of acetone in the morning. That's gone. Everything now is ink. Everything now is toner. I miss that smell of acetone in the morning. So we are in a revolution or an evolution. And those changes are becoming dynamic. So what we really have to do, and I really couldn't find out who this was credited to, Thomas Paine said it, but we want to now is a time as users and communicators to either lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. Because one of those three things are going to come and get you during this revolution that we're in. So we need to figure out exactly where we need to be and what we need to do. So, you've been around here, the people in the audience have been here for a couple of days now. As you look around, what are some of the things in this evolution or this revolution? Ladies, come on in. There's some free lunch here if you sit here and listen to me. So, okay, there we go. We're seeing a huge change from monochrome to color. No more black and white. We're getting more and more color output. So we're also moving from toner, the plastic toner, to ink. The boring print that we've been seeing, here's how much money you owe, please pay it now, send it in the envelope, has changed to eye-grabbing print, color, trans-promo, trans-relevance, all those things that are important to us. We also have alternative delivery channels. People are not necessarily getting things in print anymore. How many of you have an iPhone, iPad, Droid, or something like that? I do, I hear in the back. How many people have kids in the 15 to 25 year age group? I don't. My stepdaughter, love her to death. If I send her an email, I don't hear back from her. And not your daughter either. If I send If I leave her a voicemail, I may hear back from her. If I send her a text or a tweet, I get an instant response. She does not, and neither does my sister's kids, do anything by paper. They don't have a checking account in the way that I do, where I write checks. A checkbook will last them probably a lifetime. So we've really gotten into this alternative delivery channel. We're going to spend some time talking about that today, as well as the automated output management and more. So these are the kinds of things that if you walk around, you see the way the world is changing, the revolution, the evolution that we're in. So Jonathan said, Dave, you can't just sit there and tell people stuff without being able to back it up. Gotta love the marketing department. They want us to be factual. InfoTrends did a study, and I talked about the change to inkjet. This is a study that InfoTrends did recently, and if you look at 2011, and you've got the the electroplate photography and then inkjet, and by 2016, two things to note here. First of all, inkjet is going to surpass standard toner, but more importantly, print is not dead. Let me repeat that again. Print is not dead. So we're going to actually see an increase in the billions of impressions, as well as a change to inkjet from standard toner. That's one thing that's happening. However, I said print is not dead, but what is being printed is changing. Back to this evolution that we're in. We've got transactional print is actually declining, but the total print isn't declining too much. So yeah, there's a little bit of it. But notice the change from black and white to color. People are getting color now because the cost, I'm sorry, I keep messing up the cameraman by moving around too much. The cost for traditional monochrome print is stayed the same, whereas the cost for color has come down. So why not offer your customers what you want? Go right back to the alternative delivery mechanism. Give the customer what they want. Give it to them in the form that they want and all of that. So, everybody knows the United States Postal Service. We deliver to every mailbox every day. When I was a kid, we got 2 deliveries a day. Anybody remember those? Probably not. You guys are so young. But when I was a kid, the mailman came twice a day, Monday through Friday. We didn't have a zip code. I lived in Alexandria 8, Virginia. Then we had this thing called a zone improvement plan. And we had to memorize these 5-digit numbers for everybody that we sent from. So the USPS, but I bring this up here because if we look at the mail, first-class mail has increased until about the year 2000. That's when people started adopting the internet. Mail providers and service providers kept saying, do me a favor, go green, hug a tree, get your mail on our email site or our website. However, look at standard mail. It continued to rise for a while until the recession of 2008. These nice little gray things here, those are when we went through periods of recession or a downturn in the economy. And I really want to thank InfoTrends again for this because I stole it from them. But it's a great chart to show where everything is going and where we've been and how things are changing. So, if we start thinking about it, and Jonathan took this picture of me here back in the days when I had hair, but, you know, there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of changes that we have to make to adapt to this evolution that we're in. How are we ever going to accomplish all this? How many people have unlimited budgets? Oh, he does? Okay, because most of us don't have unlimited budgets. In fact, they usually come to us and say, you've done a fantastic job in your mailing operation. We've really broken all the records. We're up for the next budget, and I'm going to reduce your operational expenses by 5 or 10%. And by the way, I'm increasing the volume that you're doing. Have a nice day. So we want to do all these things, and we want to add color. Remember, monochrome black and white is going down. Color is going up. So we need to be able to do that. But we have tens, dozens, 20, 40, 60, 100, 1,000 different applications. It's going to take years. Well, I just happened to walk over to my friendly IT guy and say, hey, Mr. IT guy, can you do all this?
You've got to be kidding. I can't do all of that. Get in line. Maybe I'll get to you in 5 years or more.
Anybody hear that when they talk to IT? Oh, I got some people from IT, I'm sorry. But seriously, some of these, going back to the legacy applications, are very time consuming, and do they really accomplish what you want to do? So we're going to take a look at that a little bit as we go on. So we're going to cover a lot. You know, it's not a free lunch here. You're getting a lot of information here. So what we really need to do is start leveraging the technology that's out there. We need to look at what we can do rather than going back to all those legacy applications. I'm not saying don't go back to a legacy application. By all means, you can do that. But if you're doing it, all you're simply doing is changing that application to adapt to whatever that one thing may be. And we're going to take a look at a spaghetti model in a little bit to see how many times that has to be replicated as you start making all of these changes. However, if we start looking at this from a different perspective and bringing in all the print streams, then we can do all kinds of neat and cool things with that data and those documents that we're sending out. I can start eliminating forms because I'm going to full color. And I'm talking, when you walk around the floor here, full color that's got Pantone matching color. You are really looking at systems out there that can produce the kind of color that your marketing department will be proud of. So I can eliminate all of those forms now. Does that save any money? It saves a boatload. I don't have to buy all those forms. I don't have to throw them away when they expire, and I'm able to have white paper in and then the full documents out. Because of that, I can have larger print runs. What does that do for me? It increases my productivity. It helps me manage insertion jobs. Maybe I'm not going to insert anymore. Maybe I'm going to start printing those inserts on the documents. We call that onserting. So I have that capability now of doing all of that thing. If I start commingling my mail, simply taking what may have been disparate print jobs, marrying them together to give me a larger print run, I'm able to take that information now, print the different logos and letterheads on the document with security and knowing I'm getting the right document on the right stationery. That helps increase productivity. I talk to a lot of my friends in the insert world. Do you know that some of these inserters now go up to 30,000 an hour? One guy told me it's like 10 envelopes a second going down the conveyor. So in between jobs, if it takes 10 or 15 minutes between jobs, think of all the lost productivity. So if you're able to make larger jobs, longer jobs by commingling these jobs, because we've eliminated forms, we can increase productivity. Well, that can help tremendously on postage savings. By a show of hands, how many people think the post office will not be raising rates in January? I didn't see any hands. How many think it's just going to be 1 cent? 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents? It could be anything. We don't know. The only thing that we can be sure of, it's probably going up. So that's another cost we have to deal with. Also, by going back and doing a lot of these things, we can eliminate human errors. I'm not going to go into all the horror stories that I've heard about things that have gone wrong in this department. I'll be happy to talk with you one-on-one after this presentation, and we can talk about some of our shared horror stories that we've seen on things go wrong. And then again, by intercepting print streams, hopefully you can look at it with a quicker time to market.
Dave?
Yes, sir.
What about digital and offset? Is offset a channel?
Offset can definitely be a channel.
Thank you.
You can actually now have offset that has variable printing capability on top of it. That I saw on the show floor yesterday. So there's a lot of things that can be happen. But color can be made easy. How many people understand color other than to look at it? I mean, we've got to be able to deal with the different Pantones, the different shades. Is red always red and red is red? It can change depending on the substrate that you're printing it on. It can change all that. Then you've got the whole idea of understanding how do I do color in AFP, how do I do color in a PDF, how do I do color in PSC, how do I do color in this, how do I do color in that. We've actually helped, and there are systems out there to make color easy. Simply take in the print stream, tell it what you want to colorize with a few simple commands, and you've got color made easy. So, there's a lot of things that we talked about and we want to change. And my friendly Mike over there on the other corner will keep me straight with a few others. But we talked a little bit about channel management. That's that whole idea of how do you want to communicate with your customer? Or, in other terms, how does your customer want you to communicate with them? So as we start looking at that, email. Email's been around for a long, long time. That is one form of communication. However, is it the best? I don't know. But when you start looking at email providers like Strata and a few others that are out there, they're able to send the email out, track it, and whatever. One company that's out there that I'm aware of has already, get this guys, listen carefully, they have approval from the USPS to consider when that email is sent, it's equivalent of dropping a document in the USPS print stream. I'm going to repeat that. It is the same as mailing a document. So I no longer have to worry about did they send it when someone says, I didn't get that. The proof is there. We have digital mailbox services. In the US, there's 4 of them, and a couple more coming online. Some countries, almost all of their mail is delivered through a digital mailbox service. In the US, for those that want to know, I'm talking about Zoombox, Doxo, Manila, and Volley, the 4 biggies that are out there. We have drop boxes, consolidators of mail. Then there's something about accessible formats. Jonathan, when he told you a little bit about Crawford Technologies, brought in that we also work in accessible documents. That's very important because with Americans with Disabilities Act and similar acts in other countries, if someone says, remember, deliver it in the way they want it. If someone says, I need to have my mail delivered in Braille because I'm visually impaired, or I want large print, or I have an audio e-reader, you have to be able to provide those to them in that format. And if we start looking about all this, then we have print suppression. Did we say the postage is going up or down? I forgot. It's going up. Is your cost of paper going up or down? It's going up. How about the cost of supplies? Everything's going up. Even the labor is going up, but we pay our people. So when we start looking at this, we really want to do print suppression. So if I can communicate with any of these other alternative channels, I have the potential of doing print suppression. Well, that's great until you start analyzing what your architecture looks like, and it might be that you've got so many disparate silos of information that it's really difficult to suppress the print, and all you really do is divert it at the back end so it doesn't go through the mail. So the only thing you've saved is the postage, which is like big deal. You know, I haven't saved everything. Then we've got interactive features. Wow. Be able to click on something on the document, go to a website, instant gratification, click on a QR code, augmented reality, all these things that can be enhanced in the document. And I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, which is heavy for regulatory compliance. So we still have all of that we have to deal with. So we've got a lot of changes we have to make, and we really have to figure out how we want to do all these changes and what benefit or impact it's going to have to my operation. So there's a lot of things that have to happen and go on as we do this. So we start looking at, and this is where we got into what we really said we were going to talk about. We start talking about, is your CRM, your customer relationship management database, up to the task? Can your CRM handle, I'm seeing a lot of bobbleheads, not like they're not mine. Can we handle this? Can your CRM handle it? Some people go, yep, we can do it. We've got a field that says they want to go email because they've opted in for email, or they've opted in for print suppression.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
What the heck is a CRM?
You weren't listening, Mr. McGrew. I said it's a customer relationship management database.
Customer relationships. Why are those important?
Remember, we talked about wanting to be able to communicate with the customer in the form that they want to receive the document in, not necessarily the way that we want to send the document. So we have to be able to maintain preferences. How many preferences are you? For digital mailbox services, email, web presentment, alternative distribution, all those different things. How are you going to maintain these? Is your CRM database up to snuff? I've been in financial institutions where the checking account isn't even on the same database as a savings account, let alone the CDs or the mortgage. So when I start looking at the CRMs, are they able to handle this, and how can they? Then I've got to figure out how I'm going to turn off print. Do I want to turn off print for everything or everybody? My insurance provider really got this right. I have home and auto with this particular provider. I've turned off monthly statements, but I still get the statement when they issue me my insurance card and my annual home mortgage, home insurance, but I don't get that monthly statement unless, because it's automatically paid from my checking account, unless the amount has changed. Then they send me a statement. So they've been able to reduce their paper output tremendously. They've been able to communicate by email to me and suppress the paper, and I'm still getting all the information. Then we have to be able to interface with all these providers. If I'm sending it out in a digital mailbox, I want to know that you sent it. I kind of would like to know if you ever opened it. How much spam do you get a day? How many emails do you get a day? I get well over 100 emails a day, and I've got to sift through it, and I want to be able to find my documents. So we've got this whole thing of interfacing with providers, especially if you sign up with an alternative distribution channel like Zoombox, Volley, Manila, or Doxo, or one of the others. They will tell you when to start suppressing the mail and when to start using it. So what we've really done is we've moved ahead to CCM 2.0. I never did like a 1.0 version of anything. You remember when Windows 1.0 came out? I'm sorry, Mr. Gates. But, you know, we had 2.0. I try to stay away from 1.0 releases. So again, what does your CRM database look like? These are the takeaways that I want you to go back and think about when you go back to your operation. What does your CRM database look like? Then I want you to go and start checking around with your different silos in your organization. How many different CRM databases do you have? Do they talk to each other? How many customer information files do you maintain? You'll be surprised when you see the number of customer information files that are out there that are being maintained, and one of them may be updated, others won't. And usually when you talk to someone about, have you updated the customer information files? Yeah, we get the information from the post office, and every time somebody moves, we update it. That's the extent of the updates. So you really need to start looking at that. And how difficult is it to add the alternative distribution to your databases? How hard is it to change all of that? So there's got to be a missing link somewhere. Jonathan says, I'm the missing link as we start doing things. So what we want to do is we came up with a concept called MC3, Multi-Channel Customer Communications Management. Wow, that's a mouthful. Multi-Channel Customer Communications Management. It's sort of like that missing link that helps solve it. It's a preferential database that's able to track how you want to correspond or communicate with your users. How do they want to be communicated to? So we have this ability to it. It helps us decide what is important to us and also what's important to them, how they want to get it. And what we have to now do is figure out how can we leverage the power of a multi-channel customer communications method, database, and all of that. So, I told you we'd have a spaghetti model. Does your channel management look like that? Where you've got the silos of statements, bills, policies, confirmations, EOBs, notices, etc., 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 and you want to send some of them to print? So you create a print stream that goes to print. You want to send some of them To email, you have a different application that goes to an email. Same with digital mailboxes. Remember when I said going back to those legacy applications and changing them? How many legacy applications do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 per silo. Do the math. That's a lot of changes to be able to communicate with our customers in the form that they want to communicate with. And then there's this big scary one. What does the future look like? If someone would have told me 8 years ago that we're going to stop sending things by paper and envelopes, I would have told them they're crazy, because EBPP did not move very far. It kind of died quickly. And the reason it died quickly or didn't adopt was because we were still tethered to our PCs. We were pretty much tethered to the PC on our desk. Now we're remote, we're mobile. We have our smartphones, we have our tablets. So this whole idea of alternative distribution is moving up. It's hit a plateau, but I think with a little bit further push, and as the age group starts increasing and the people that start grabbing hold of it are getting more attuned to it, more and more people are going to want a form other than paper and print. Does that mean that paper and print is dead? No. Remember the slide that I showed you a little while ago where paper and print is still growing and will continue to grow. The aspect of what's being printed and what's being mailed may be changing, but there is no death of the print industry. I remember about 1998, I was at a show like this, and someone got up there in a nice suit and tie like this. They said, by the year 2005, we are going to be in a paperless society. Anybody remember those discussions? Did they happen? I get more mail now in my mailbox than I ever did back then. And what's even more interesting is that mail is more meaningful. It has trans-promo added to it. It's trying to be relevant to what I do and what I buy. So the idea that we're going to go to a paperless society is not there. The idea is we need to go to a multi-channel distribution society to be able to address the needs of our customers and how they want to receive the documents. So we look at this nice spaghetti model. By the way, I'd like you to, that took a lot of time for me to draw all those lines. That was a lot of work. And I want you to look at something. You know what probably the most important part of that is? This is where you go, I don't know, Dave.
I don't know, Dave.
Diane knows. What is it, Diane? They all intersect. That's good. That's one of them. How about these little arrows? There are arrows on this side, but there's no arrows on that side. So I've got a one direction communication as I'm going out. How does that address the needs of what my users are telling me they want? So if we start looking at it a little bit differently, and Diane was right, they all intersect. But what I've actually done is saying, if we could put something like a channel manager there, a preference management tool, something that is the MC cubed database out there that knows everything about how people want to get their documents and is able to communicate. Now I'm sending the statements, bills, policies, confirmations, EOBs, et cetera, they're being filtered through a channel manager that says, I'm going to pick on you, Diane, since you've been so nice. Diane wants hers in print. Jonathan wants his electronically. I want mine in an accessible format. So I'm able to have it go that way. But let's look at something here. Remember that important arrow I talked about?
Wait.
Yes, sir.
I changed my mind. I want it in print and electronic, and I want to be able to decide when I can change it.
Wow. Does anybody ever change their mind? I want it this way, and then I want it another way.
Wait. Maybe I want it electronically.
Well, would you make up your mind?
No.
Okay. So if you start looking at that, and those are the kinds of things we have to consider is people change. Do you have the same bank that you've had for the last 20 years? I don't. Do you change things? Maybe your neighbor got a pleasant or a not so pleasant experience doing something one way, so you may want to change. The importance of these bidirectional arrows let your preference manager or your channel manager know that someone's changed their mind. Jonathan over there has decided he no longer wants it that way, but he wants it in print and he wants to see it in a digital mailbox. Notice the and. He wants to get it both ways. In fact, when you sign up for most digital mailboxes, you still get it on print until you opt out of print and then start receiving it electronically. And they'll also send notification of changes. If you sign up for one of those services, emails or digital mailboxes, they'll also let the channel manager know or let you know that someone signed up for this and then can opt out of the print if that's what they want to do. If we opt out of print, what do we save? Money. Thank you. This is supposed to be interactive. I mean, after all, we did feed you. We expect a little bit of interactivity from you. And you know, this is participation. I don't like to do standing presentations where you go, and a better channel management architecture would be to send out the statements, the bills, the policies. We like to be interactive here. We like to have fun with this stuff because this is fun. If you don't enjoy it, you're in the wrong industry. It's a lot of fun. So we've got all those interactivity. We've got future preference management. We've got a lot of things we have to consider. So one thing I want to end with here at Crawford Technologies, I kind of stole this from BASF, modified a little bit, but we don't make the documents. We don't create your documents. We make the documents you create better because we're sending those documents out in a channel that you would prefer. We're helping you address the needs. And if you look around here, you'll see everybody talking about full color, which is one of those migrations. We see people talking about enhanced workflows, electronic delivery, all the different things that are changing in the world. In this revolution or this evolution, and I don't know which one it is, but it's one or both of them that we're in right now, we need to be able to address how we can make these documents better. So, what I invite you to do, if you've enjoyed this presentation, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about some of the things we talked about, or you just want to stop by and say, man, Dave, you're an idiot, please stop by and see us at booth number 960. We'll be happy to talk to you, talk with you, and understand what you do, a little bit about what we do, and I've got my marketing guy behind me, he's going to kill me. A little bit about what we do, and let's see how we can work together. So what I'd like to do now, I think I have a few minutes before I'm supposed to end this presentation, let someone else step up here. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, we had some questions from the live stream.
Oh, good.
We had the one about offset. People were interested to know if that was a channel. So you covered that a little bit.
We also have to give a big shout out to all the booths behind us. We do apologize. The volume we can't really control over here, so we do apologize for the lunch and learn. But I'm offering you free food if you want to come over here and let us make it up to you for disrupting your booth for an hour. So please accept our sincerest apologies if you have been inconvenienced over a couple rows. But we do appreciate everyone coming to talk to us. If you do have questions, Dave will be sticking around. It's on the live stream archived if you want to see it later and send your friends to it. We're over in 960. They can probably hear us from here as well. And there's going to be another presentation here at, Deborah, 1 o'clock with the Printing Alliance. Yes, the Printing Alliance. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Come back, stick around, eat some more food, have some iced tea and lemonade.
Ask us any questions you have, or if you want to tell us a little bit about what you think about this, because you know something? Whenever I put together a presentation, it's all about stuff that I've heard when I've talked to folks like you that are in the real world more than I am, and that are telling me what they do and how they do it. And one of the questions I like to ask everybody when I sit down and talk to them, if you were king or queen, what would you change in your operation to make it better? The second question I ask them is, what keeps you up at night? What is it that bothers you so much that you can't sleep? And let's see if we can take a look at it. So if there's no more questions, I thank you very much for your participation because it was interactive. I thank you for your attendance, and everybody have a good show for the rest of the show and tomorrow, and we hope to see you in our trails today and tomorrow. Thanks a lot, everybody.
And you can find us at Crawford Tech Inc. on Twitter. I'm J.E. McGrew on Twitter. We also have a Facebook, so we've been tweeting and posting pictures from around the show, so make sure you go check that out too. See you guys. Oh, I better leave the mic.
Well,